I have a question for you guys. Have you guys ever seen Combat Gods? The stickman fighting thingy? Well, if you have, you know that they got straight hands. Hands for days. And honestly, I decided to make a Naruto who legit, just like I said, has hands for days. Basically Rock Lee, but on steroids, on sake, and on everything else you could possibly imagine. Naruto is going to be busted. So if you enjoy just combat scenes, this is pretty much what this What If is all gonna be about. So you're gonna love this one. That said, enjoy. Also, don't forget to leave a like on the video.
Hey Ross, sauce it up.
This story immediately kicks off in, I want to say, the attack on the village. Now, the reason for that is not because of Obito, it's not because of the QB, but it's because I want to start everything off with Naruto being OP from birth. The reason for this is that I'm not going to make Naruto in the original sense, but instead I'm going to have like literally just some beam of light. Like Naruto's gonna be in his crib, Kurama's gonna be like looking at him, Minato and Kushina are both like literally just telling him like their final words, and right before they could even finish, a white light blinding everybody, like nobody could see anything, would shine over them, as Naruto would have this light go all over his entire body, and it would be like a spirit from another dimension was just like literally just sucked into the soul of Naruto. Like Naruto and this person now share sentience combined. Like it's almost like their souls would have merged. So now Naruto not only is going to be just some random kid who happens to have the QB because, you know, Minato already does that and all that stuff, but Naruto is now also going to have access to one of the greatest fighters in the entire universe, like ever, bro. Like we could take it as like literally anybody. Like you guys could think Sun Jin Woo, you guys could think the Monkey King, you guys could think Goku, you guys could think the Grand Priest, you guys could think who's another character that got hands, Baki. You guys could pretty much think of any character at all. Naruto will have those fighting styles, and the reason for that is because this fighter, who would pretty much have been like merged with Naruto, would be the greatest hand-to-hand combat fighter in all of anime and all of DC and all of, like, bro, everything, bro. Like I don't think I can stress enough how OP Naruto's gonna be, right? But ultimately, it's not like this power is just gonna immediately be there, right? Because he does have the body of a kid, so he's not gonna be having all the strength he could potentially harness off rip, right? He's gonna have to work for it. So during Naruto's early childhood years, Naruto, when he would be getting made fun of and stuff like that, he still wouldn't let things slide. Like at one point, he's like 4.5 years old, right? And an adult was talking mad smack. Like this adult was just being super grimy, and Naruto had just moved out by himself. He went to go get himself some groceries, and this guy was just not willing to sell Naruto a thing. So you know what Naruto does? Naruto quite literally proceeds to look at the man and goes, "Look, if you don't want to sell me anything, that's fine. Okay? It's fine. I'm not going to question you. I'm not going to beg you. But I am going to leave you with a little gift." And the man would look at him, raise an eyebrow, and then Naruto, like with like a little kunai that he has in his pocket, he straight just slashes up at the man's eyes, cutting it, and then just straight disappears like in a flash. Like Naruto, even though he's not as fast as he could potentially be, he just like straight blatantly disappeared from this man's sight. He using the body flicker, something that nobody else at 4 years old has ever been able to use. But Naruto just did it, and from here he would pretty much find himself back at home, where Naruto would end up like pretty much cleaning off the kunai, sharpening it again, and simply thinking to himself that that was another rude encounter. Eventually, Naruto would find himself training on his physical body. For some reason, Naruto feels so at home when he just meditates, trains, and looks forward to working on his body and strengthening it. Naruto at the age of 4 is currently learning how to do things like the splits, learning how to jump up higher, cartwheels, front flips, back flips. Like, Naruto is becoming as acrobatic and nimble as he could possibly become for his early young age. And eventually we time skip to a point where Naruto would officially be about 9 years old. The academy would have just started and everybody would kind of begin getting acquainted with each other, and Naruto would end up being introduced to the classroom. Naruto walks in, and because he has the soul of like an older person inside of him, he's not childish by any means. So he's not walking in there and he's like, my name's Naruto Uzumaki and I'm gonna be the greatest Hokage. Like, none of that. Like, Naruto straight walks in there, he stays silent, he goes to the back, and he's kind of like an Itachi kind of person, right? But eventually Iruka tells them all that he's going to be testing them to see where they are physically, and so he pretty much ends up making them all face off against each other. Naruto, seeing all of this go down, realizes that his opponent is actually going to be Kiba. Kiba, I don't know, whatever Kiba's last name is, right? But Kiba just looks at him and he's like, I have to fight this guy? Really? Could have given me anybody else, but sure thing, I guess I'll clobber him in front of the class. Naruto, after hearing that, would just have a chuckle, as from here he would look towards Kiba and get into his fighting stance. Kiba mocks him by getting into the same exact stance, and then looks at Naruto, sticks his tongue out, and then rushes in immediately, trying to like throw a punch at him. Naruto, however, quickly weaves 4 punches, and Kiba would then jump on him trying to tackle him, but like Naruto straight just sidesteps it, and then when Kiba's on the ground trying to recover, Naruto just kicks Kiba out of the circle, causing Kiba to get embarrassed, and he'd be like, hey, I slipped, like that's not fair, you know, run it back. But Naruto just walks away, and Kiba would be like, get back here. But Naruto doesn't even care whatsoever, and he proceeds to simply just look towards Kiba and say, chill out, bro, like it's not worth it. As from here, Kiba throws a punch at Naruto when he's not looking, and Naruto turns around, catches it, and says, you know, you probably shouldn't have done that. As from here, Naruto proceeds to kick him square in the stomach and then uppercut him square in the face, sending him flying backwards as Kiba rolls on the floor, and everybody watches as Naruto just walks away from the class. From here, Naruto would make his way towards training grounds, where Naruto would begin to throw 10,000 punches at a wood block over and over and over and over and over and over and over. It literally would feel like his arms were about to fall off. He then proceeds to do 10,000 squats. He then does 10,000 push-ups. He then does a 1,000 like kilometer run. Like, bro goes nuts to butts. Like I can't put it any more like harder than that. And this is Naruto at 9, mind you. Naruto's training just gets harder and harder, and his speed and his attributes and the time that he spends doing all this training, the amount of hours he puts in the library to look up books and train with them and all that stuff, and the amount of time that Naruto was put into learning sword fighting, kunai fighting, shuriken throwing, and even the basics of chakra and fundamentals such as wood style, or sorry, not wood style, but earth style and water style and fire style and earth style, like, and lightning style. Like, Naruto already has all 5 elemental natures down packed by the time that the day of the graduation would finally arrive. Eventually they would have one final test where they have to face off against each other, and of course Iruka, not liking Naruto, would pair him up against Sasuke. Sasuke would do his absolute best to try to defeat Naruto, but ultimately it's completely in vain, as Naruto would simply sidestep all of Sasuke's attacks with his hands in his pockets, and eventually Sasuke jumps up into the air, shooting a fire style jutsu at Naruto, to which Naruto would simply slam his hands on the ground, create an earth style jutsu, create a clone, throw his clone up into the air. Sasuke would be distracted, and then suddenly he gets grabbed from underneath using the headhunter jutsu as he's taken underneath the ground, and Naruto would simply proceed to walk away already, like just not even caring to know if he passed or not. Like, Naruto couldn't be bothered. But it's at this point that Naruto, as he's leaving, he realizes that Mizuki was actually talking to another student, lying to them about how they can become a genin by simply stealing the scroll of sealing. Naruto from here would end up making his way toward Hiruzen's office, and in the dead of night he realizes that kid finally did go through it. Naruto, once he sees this, he'd think to himself, how dumb do you have to be? But little does he know that in the original canon he was the one who did it. But regardless of that, I digress. Continuing forward, Naruto would simply look at the kid and tell him to get lost, that, you know, he was here first and that it was a test of speed. The kid gets pretty sad about that and then leaves the area, and Naruto would immediately go over, grab the scroll, and then like just kind of have like a little bit of a witty smile on his face. As from here, Naruto decides that his best course of action would probably be to meet Mizuki. However, Naruto decides that it would probably also be extremely smart if Naruto wrote down a bunch of these jutsus for himself. Maybe this way he can actually become more and more powerful, and Naruto can, you know, get some restricted jutsus that he shouldn't have access to. Naruto writes down jutsus like the jutsu of bringing people back from the dead, the reanimation jutsu, the flying Raijin, the Rasengan, the multi-shadow clone jutsu, and jutsu such as like insanely powerful like dragon style water jutsus, you know what I mean? And they're just insane, the amount of jutsus that Naruto learns. He copies them down, and for the next week, like Naruto would spend just like working on them down packed, like making sure that he gets them as fast as possible. And even learning forbidden kenjutsu techniques, and even techniques that allow you to harness your energy, and instead it pretty much saps away at your life force every time that you use it, right? And Naruto just keeps using all of these jutsus, practicing on them, becoming more and more powerful day by day, and it eventually gets to the point where Naruto was just so incredibly busted. Like you couldn't fathom how strong Naruto is at this point, and he's 13, bro. But eventually the moment would come when Naruto meets Mizuki and he pummels him to the floor. It's so bad how Mizuki gets defeated. Mizuki throws the shuriken at Naruto. Naruto catches it with one finger and then redirects it back at Mizuki, causing Mizuki's head to get decapitated from his body, and then Mizuki just straight gets GG'd, you know, rest in peace, might I add. But after that happens, the following day at school, Naruto would be told about what team he's going to be placed under, and he would be informed that he's going to be placed under Team 7 alongside that of Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno, and obviously himself. He ends up waiting for Kakashi, and he realizes that 2 hours pass, but Naruto doesn't care. That whole time he was just meditating. And Sasuke just had his eyes closed and was sitting there looking meticulous, but Naruto was image training in his mind what it would be like to finally face off against somebody who could actually give him a run for his money. Like, it's so sad how powerful Naruto is at this current moment. Like, compared to the rest of the world, it's genuinely tragic. But what would pretty much end up going down after this is that Kakashi would arrive, they have introductions, and the following day they would all be informed of the bell test. The bell test would finally come, and then Kakashi, after taking about 1 hour and being late, would finally end up arriving close to where he pretty much told them to meet up. Once this would happen, he would end up pretty much telling them all that what they're going to do here is just take the bell test, and then he would say 3, 2, 1. And in a flash, like Naruto straight just grabs the bells, and Kakashi just doesn't even realize it. Kakashi from here would turn and see Naruto already has them in his hands. Kakashi would be completely shocked. He's like, how did you? And Naruto says you weren't paying attention. And Kakashi's like, do it one more time. And Naruto was just like, all right, sure. From here, he would proceed to like get into a stance. Kakashi would take out a Sharingan, and as he would do this, Naruto would come flying in with a little kunai as he cuts off both the bells, and Kakashi would try to react with his body fast enough to counter, but Naruto would grab them, go in and out, and just immediately take those bells away from the plain side of Kakashi. Kakashi's so stunned he can't even speak, and from here he would ask Naruto if he's just fast or if he can actually fight. Naruto from here would slow things down, and they would get into a very intense taijutsu brawl. Kakashi throwing punches and kicks, but they would each be parried, dodged, and redirected towards a different direction. Naruto would even counter with his own blows of his own, and when Kakashi would throw a kick, Naruto would block it with his own leg, before then spinning to the side, kicking Kakashi himself, shooting a fire style jutsu at him. Kakashi substitutes out of the way, body flickering behind him, creating like 20 clones which would each rush at Kakashi, throwing punches and kicks. Kakashi would do his absolute best to keep up, but he ultimately gets overwhelmed by the clones in and of themselves, and they all end up attacking him, holding kunais at different parts of Kakashi's body, to the point where he can't even weave a hand sign to use the substitution jutsu, and Naruto would say, "You're done for." Kakashi would be too shocked to even end up saying, "Oh no, you didn't pass," because yada yada yada. Like, he's genuinely just that surprised. And so what would pretty much end up going down after this is that like Naruto would proceed to just get past along with Sasuke and Sakura. And Sasuke would end up coming out of hiding, being all like, "How did you get those eyes?" You know what I mean? And Kakashi would explain that he had a friend, and he would then finally explain the real reason of the bell test. All of them understand, and they like kind of get like a new perspective on life after hearing this speech from Kakashi. But ultimately what would pretty much end up going down after this is that they just kind of like acknowledge what Kakashi said, and they try to take his words into practice as much as they possibly can. You know, they try to make sure that they can do things as well as they, you know, I mean, how do I put it? Like they take his words into account. Sasuke believes him. Sakura's like, "Wow, like that's true." And then Naruto's like, "Obviously, like what kind of a dummy doesn't know that? Like obviously the lives of your comrades are more worth it than a mission." And Kakashi, when he hears Naruto say that, he says, "I wish the village saw it just like you, Naruto, but unfortunately they don't. And that's why my father, Sakumo Hatake, had to take his own life." Naruto looks at him and says, "You didn't have to do anything. Your father's a coward." And Kakashi, once he hears that, he'd be shocked. He's like, "What did you say about my father?" And Naruto's like, "Your father's a coward." And Kakashi would like immediately like get angry and like try to like blitz at Naruto, right? And, like hold a kunai to him and be like, "Hey, like don't forget I'm still your teacher." But Naruto would then appear right behind him as the kunai would end up like kind of would be pressed on the clone's neck, and it would just poof out of existence. Naruto from here would throw up a kunai into the air, and from here he would hold another one to Kakashi's neck, as Naruto would then teleport to the other one and slam down on it, slightly missing but grazing Kakashi enough for Kakashi to feel the feeling of what a blade would feel like going down his spine. And Kakashi would be absolutely stunned, like he's too shocked to speak. Sasuke is just fuming with jealousy at this moment, and Sakura would be looking at Naruto like, "I didn't realize he was this strong." But ultimately what would pretty much end up going down is that 2 weeks worth of D-rank missions would pass by, and eventually they would then be told to make their way to the mission of the Land of Waves. They'd be introduced to Tazuna the Bridge Builder, and eventually after a couple of hours of waiting and a good night's rest, they would finally find Tazuna at the bridge. Once they would start the mission, about 30 minutes into it, give or take, they end up encountering the Demon Brothers, who use an illusion to try to catch them off guard. Kakashi this time around, before he even gets the idea to substitute out of there and see what his team is capable of, Naruto would have immediately rushed in at the direction of the Demon Brothers and began to immediately fight them one-on-one hand combat, right? One of them would lunge in at Naruto, slashing at the air, and Naruto simply spins mid-air before split kicking them both in the face, as both of them would get sent flying, and then Naruto would rush up to another one, placing a kunai on his neck firmly, before then grabbing him by the hair and asking him why he's here and attacking them. Like what is their business? The brother would immediately like shiver in fear, and he proceeds to turn towards Naruto and say that he was hired by Gato, that they were going to be paid a handsome sum of money to take him out. And Naruto's like, "Is that it?" And the man would say, "Sure." Naruto from here like lets him go, and then from here Kakashi would go over and finish him off. Naruto, after he sees that, would ask him why he did that. He would say that that was completely dishonorable, considering that he was already taken care of and he couldn't defend himself. And Kakashi says that in the world of ninjas there's no such thing as honor in combat. Naruto says that's what you think, but there's always honor in combat. And from here, Kakashi would go on to pretty much take out the other demon brother before finally they make their way deeper into the forest. Eventually, Zabuza would end up arriving, and when Zabuza's on top of his sword, Naruto would grip the sheath of his own blade as he takes it out, and eventually he turns towards Kakashi before asking Kakashi if he can have some fun. Kakashi would say, "Go for it, Naruto," and immediately Naruto would blitz at Zabuza standing on top of his own sword, hand on the sheath of his blade, as from here, Naruto holds his hand out in front of Zabuza with the 1-inch punch ready to just send it, you know what I mean, like full send it. And then from here he immediately, bam, the 1-inch punch, sending Zabuza flying into the lake and causing him to literally skip like a stone. Eventually, Zabuza would sink into the water and come out with so much killing intent it would even shock Kakashi. But Naruto would be standing in front of him as Zabuza would immediately wave hand signs for a water dragon jutsu. Naruto from here would immediately go on a wave hand signs for his own, copying Zabuza to the letter, and then they would both clash. Naruto's would end up overwhelming Zabuza's, however, and Zabuza would wonder how in the world a Genin got this strong. Naruto says that he's no ordinary Genin, as he would appear behind Zabuza once more, and from here, Naruto would proceed to hit him in 3 different pressure points, 1 on his side and 2 on his arm. So now Zabuza's entire body just went limp, and the only feeling that Zabuza has on his body is his legs and like his head. That's it. He can like move his lips, but that's it. He falls onto the ground and Naruto grabs him by his shirt collar, dragging him back towards land, before then suddenly a senbon would go flying near Naruto's ear. He turns towards his right and he sees somebody rushing in at him, coming in with full intent to kill. Naruto would look towards the direction of the team and would say, "Don't worry, I got this."